That's a good question.
Yeah.
We don't really know that answer. I think it's always for the adventure. While we're doing it, sometimes we wonder why we're doing it, but man, as soon as we get off of it, we so soon forget and can't wait to do it again. Every run we do is going to be different, and we want to know if we can get through these next challenges, and there's going to be challenges because there always are. Mm-hmm. What are they going to be, and can we get through them? And can I do it a little bit better than him, or he do it better than me? Well, that's wait to be seen.
And it's going to be different, and I think that's what's fun about racing with Alan is that we have completely different dog teams. I mean, you look at his dog team, I mean, looks, style, everything is very different in our dog teams, but I think we have strong suits and we have to play to those strong suits, and in the end, you know, we'll see what happens.
Well, it affects any long-distance musher.
Yeah,
and
it's a roller coaster ride.
It is, and I think it affects each person differently. And nobody really knows how it's going to affect you until you do it. We've done it numerous times, of course. But we try to plan out beforehand to make a strategy, you know, and stick to it. Because once we start feeling sleepy and sleep deprived, this, that, and the other, we might not make the rational decisions that we would have made. So that's what I try to do anyway.
Yeah, I think I do the same thing. I lay out a plan, but then you have to be more than willing to change that plan.
You do.
He said it perfectly, you know, when we were all three sitting there in Slavens. He's like, well, here we go again. It's the same thing. And it's fun, you know, it really, I enjoy it because every year our dogs teams change a little bit. And I think it's fun to, you know, come back and compete every single year and see who did what and how they changed and what adjustments they've made and if they've gotten better or worse or, you know, faster or stronger. Or, it's a lot of fun.
Well, we talk about our dogs quite a bit.
Yeah.
You know, that's not a big deal to us. You know, we ask how your dog's doing. How many dogs do you have? You got any? Are all of them all pulling? You know, just various questions. It's just it's not that big a deal to talk about dogs.
No, it's kind of small talk. I think we talk dogs all the time. That's what we do. We talk dogs. That's kind of what we do for a living. You know,
it would be unusual for us not to talk
about
dogs. So we're going to talk about dogs.
I mean, you know, if you know that you got a bunch of problems, you may not advertise that at certain points in the race because, you know, we are competing. But I think that's one of the greatest things about this race, especially and dog mushing in general, is that we're competing in the highest level it gets in dog mushing, and yet we're out there having a good time and talking as friends, and you know, and there's not a lot of sporting events that allow you to do that, and that's why I think it's great. Yeah, over the years you get to know somebody very well, you know, and then there's still that sense of like, well, I can't give him all my secrets, and he can't give me all his secrets, and so that's what keeps it.
And we all think we have them.
Yeah, yeah, and that's what keeps.
We may not, but we think we do.
That's what keeps it really real and new every year. You say, oh, it's the same trail, but and we all may be at Slavens in the same place around the same time for the last 2 or 3 years, but look at how every race plays out completely different, and that's what keeps it exciting.
We kind of know what each other's going to do, usually. Yep. You know, just give or take. I mean, I thought for one point in time I'd just wait right there, try to keep cabin right there where you can turn off for Brent, because I thought I knew what he was going to do.
Yeah.
And then when we got up there and Hugh said, "You really think he's going to do that?" I said, "Yeah, he's going." I said, "No, he's just going a little bit slower." I said, "No, he's not." But anyway, that's where I still tried to. It's really hard for us to follow someone else's plan, because I already had, my plan was to stay 3 hours at Trout Creek, and you know, when you know he's going by, it's hard to do that, but I still stuck by my guns and did that, and whether it works out or not, I don't know. We don't know. We're just gambling on these things all the time, so maybe it will, maybe it won't, and we'll see in the future here.
Yeah, and I think in the end, I think it's us as dog munchers have learned that sticking to our guns is usually the best decision. You know, changing your schedule for somebody else's when you're only 250 or 300 miles into the race is probably not a good idea. You know, I think just from years of doing this for a while, we both know that. If you start changing, I mean,
sometimes we have to sway just a little bit, because I can't let him get 8 hours out in front of me. You know, I'll never catch him, but still you have to stick to your gun.
And it's completely different when you're 200 miles from the finish line too.
Sure.
When you're 800 miles from the finish line, there's a lot of
racing to do.
Can you give us that minute between you finish?
What's that? Yeah, right.
We're going to have that last nail biting finish.
Yeah.
Well, Brent's going to give it his all. I'm going to give it my
Yeah.
all. And it normally comes down to the dogs.
Yeah, it does.
Can we keep dogs healthy, happy, full of energy? And usually that's the team that's going to win. And I don't know who that's going to be.
Yeah, it's all about the dogs.
We still have to see that from our dogs.
Yep.
So even though we'll give it our all, our dogs have to be healthy and happy. If I lose half my dog team, well, I'm not going to win.
Right.
It's just that simple.
Yep.
I got the same leader I've had she's ran the last 3 or 4 years, back-to-back Yukon Quest and Iditarod. Her name's Keto. She's great. She just does everything you want her to do. And now, she never would run through water, and that always bothered me. Every year you get to any little water crossing, oops, stop. Oh, I don't want to go through that. Well, this year she changed.
Yeah, that's fun.
Every water crossing, she hit it like it was nothing. I mean, wide open. I had a tail dragger, I can sit down on my sled. So I held my feet straight up, way up high, and we would hit it just wide open. I still got my feet wet because the splash was so big.
It's better than sinking in
exactly. So anyway, I finally have a dog that'll cross water, which has been rare for me.
That's nice. Yeah, they're amazing. And Rosie, this is her 6th quest with me, and I have not relied on her much because the young ones are faster and do a better job overall. But last night, when that run got to be a little bit longer, I put her up there, and it was just like very apparent that she still got it, But this team is, like I said, when I started, 13 of the 14 are dogs that I've raised, bred, trained their whole life. 8 of them were out of silver. There's still 7 in there that are out of silver, and
all that makes it pretty special.
3 2-year-olds in there that are all his sons that are thriving right now. And like I said, Sound and Celia, they came up last year and led the whole race, and they've been doing the same thing this time. And it's real fun to watch them. And there's so much of this glare ice and all those kind of subpar conditions, and it's really fun to watch the leaders just take a hold and get you through these sections. And when you're like, oh, this is going to be a pain in the butt, and you go over 10 miles of glare ice, and you're like, that wasn't bad at all.
My particular team's probably the most veteran team I've ever had, in that they've all finished 1,000-mile races, most of them multiple times. I even got a 2-year-old in my race team this year, and he finished with me last year on Iditarod, and he was 17 months old. So that really makes a difference when you got a good, mature adult team to rely on. They just know what to do and know what's happening, and that's great.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's what it's about. These veterans are key players in the team. But then it's also fun on the flip side of that to see these young guys falling right in the ranks behind them and learning all this. And this race has been a great one for that, because we've had these challenges, different conditions, and these young dogs are just like, they're seeing all this for the first time.
Yeah, we may have an 8-year-old dog, which I do, and he's kind of on his way out, and he's ran every race possible. And then we got this 2-year-old or something that's moving up. He's just going to kind of push him out, and then that's where how it's evolved every year.
Yep, and that's what's exciting about my team this year is I switched 4 dogs that have been my main dogs for the last 3 years.
That's
and
really
these
hard to do.
2-year-olds are like taking their place, and it's like, oh, it's so hard to do. But I'm sitting here in Dawson, and I got
you're saying,
3 of them, and I'm like, yes, that was the right decision to take those dogs and give them the chance to excel. Both of us we've been breeding dogs for a while now, and you see stuff from their past, their ancestor, their mom and dad are in them, and so you learn so much about the way that your dogs react to things. Even though that particular dog, you haven't seen them react to it, they'll often react just like their mom and dad did or whatever. And I think that you learn to read your dogs a lot better. I know that I have. Like, I think about my first 3 or 4 quests, and I'm just like,
yeah,
it's unbelievable the amount of stuff that I've learned about the dogs.
We enjoy this. We enjoy each other. We enjoy mushing. We don't know what's going to happen. Hopefully it's going to be good for both of us.
Yep.
Not even just one of us.
Yeah.
If I come in second or first, it's not going to matter that much. We're going to have a good time. We gave it our all. That'll be for sure.
Yeah, we're going to leave it all on the table. I can guarantee that. I think both of us are prepared to do what's right by our dogs, but at the same time, leave it on the table and have a good race. I'm super excited that we get to have this race.